October is finally upon us, and you know what that means. It's time to celebrate the spooky season. So let's not waste time and kick off the month with what is considered to be one of the finest Universal Golden Age horror pictures, if not the finest. Frankenstein, released in 1931. Of course based on Mary Shelley's all-time great novel, steered by Carl Laemmle Jr. at the height of his producing powers behind these classics, basically the Kevin Feige of his day, and directed very well by James Whale. It's no wonder that he was the studio's go-to guy for the genre. I should mention one reason I'm reviewing this is because we've got the Guillermo del Toro Frankenstein movie dropping on Netflix next month, so I figured I'd give the original the spotlight in the meantime, and hopefully steer some younger, uninitiated viewers to this cinematic landmark in the process. The focus of the story, Henry Frankenstein, is played by Colin Clive, crazed, obsessed, proud of his sacrilegious scientific achievements, which Clive gets across in his overdramatic, yet engagingly unbalanced speech and madcap physical acting. Even in his calmer moments, he's trying to convince himself and others that what he's doing is perfectly sensible. Soon he comes to realise his major errors, but even then, when returning to normalcy, he can't escape what he's created. Thumbs up for Clive's performance. But of course the real star is the monster, played by Boris Karloff, the stuff of legend. Even though he never properly speaks, he carries an insanely strong presence in his actions and his physical stature, and he's donned in that makeup courtesy of Jack Pierce, which cemented the creature as an icon. I love how instead of using Karloff's name, they use a question mark in the cast lineup to maintain that mystery, and I also love how he's first revealed in his full glory. Through Karloff's performance, he proves to be very sympathetic. He doesn't know any better. He's afraid of fire, he's then chained up, he's a victim of Fritz's abuse, then he accidentally drowns that little girl Maria, which is for me hands down the darkest moment. Quite brutal for 1931. And then of course he's chased down and seemingly burnt to death by the village. It's tragic. Born an inhuman creature, and only came to know pain and suffering through no fault of his own. But that's why it's an immortal tale. Elsewhere in the cast, Dwight Fry as Fritz is enjoyably demented. The others like Elizabeth, Victor, the Professor, and the amusing Baron are quite simple, but I can give it a bit of a pass, because in the context here, they serve well as the grounded voices of reason, in contrast to Henry's lunacy. And also there's the father of Maria, just a pure, traumatic heartbreak in his face. So little required, but so chillingly effective. The film's best acting moment as far as I'm concerned. I admire the sets. Great gothic interiors and exteriors like the castle, the laboratory is awesome, I also like the graveyard and anything else in the outdoors. The infrequent score from Bernard Cohn is nice, although there's mostly a lack of music, which just further enhances the atmosphere, especially when shook and illuminated by the thunder and lightning, and when the lab equipment is buzzing around them. Oh, I love it. Other details I like include the trippy opening credits and that pre-show warning from the host. Quite a time capsule moment, reminding how a now quite tame horror was potentially very shocking in the early 1930s, but given how easily sensitive that modern audiences on either side are, maybe we need to bring this back for today's movies. Almost a whole century later, Frankenstein holds up tremendously as a classic. It's easy to see why it's usually ranked the king of the Universal Classic Horror series, although many argue that the sequel, Bride of Frankenstein, improves upon everything, especially with the monster, but that's a review for another day. As for this picture, the legacy has remained well and truly alive. I'm Jason, and this is Small Movie World, watching, talking and loving films.